You're listening to the Mortgage Success Podcast, a show created to inspire mortgage brokers to achieve optimal success in their mortgage businesses. I'm the host, Brian France, the author of the book, Internet Marketing for Mortgage Brokers, tripling your online sales by getting your internet marketing done the right way. I'm also the founder of Mortgage Broker Marketing, the digital marketing agency for the mortgage industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in your mortgage business. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Mortgage Success Podcast. With me today is Andrew Pence. Man, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me, Brian.
Yeah, you're welcome. Awesome. Tell us a little bit about your business, how you got started in the industry, just, a brief history.
Yeah, sure, man. So, been doing loans since about 2005. I came out of college and had read a lot of real estate investment books and thought I wanted to get into the business. And, at that time, if you had a pulse, they'd let you sell a loan. So it was really easy for me to get going. But obviously didn't do a whole lot of loans coming out the gate, but ended up finding a pretty solid mentor and job in about 2006, where I really kind of started churning out some deals and been doing it ever since, man. I love it.
Awesome. And so since 2006 is when things started picking up. So the name of your company, and tell me a little bit about the market you serve, the customers you serve.
Sure. So my company's name is Granite West Funding. I'm actually a DBA of a different broker. So I'm a mortgage broker as well. And when I started as a broker in 2006. When the downturn happened in 2007, 2008, we ended up pivoting to the direct lender model in about 2009. And we kind of did that before a lot of other people did, and it was incredible for us those first couple of years where everybody else was struggling. We were able to really kind of take a lot of market share and do a lot of things that have a lot of products that not a lot of people were able to provide. So I enjoyed that direct lender model for quite a while and was able to get back into the broker world middle of 2019. It was a bit of we took a chance on it, right? It was a little nerve wracking, right? Had my comfort of the direct lender model for quite a bit, but best move I ever made, man. I wish I'd done it sooner.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So you started as a broker, moved to the direct lender model, and then now you're back in the broker side.
Yeah.
Wow. So what led you to open up to go back to the broker side?
Sure. So, in terms of the market that I serve, I'm kind of in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas, kind of a more rural community, where, our property types are abundant, right? We've got log homes, we've got lakefront properties that are $1 million. We've got manufactured houses that are 125 K. And so we have all these different, people that we're trying to serve. And, it was very difficult for me to find a direct lender that sort of had everything in their product portfolio to serve everybody that I wanted to take care of. And, due to that rural community, I'm not getting, 100 loan applications a week, or I'm not getting a bunch of people walking through the door. So anybody that does come through the door, we need to be able to help. So, the idea of having, a diverse product offering was very appealing to me. Because with the broker, I've got, 30, 40 different investors, and there's not a product that we don't have at this point. There's not a property that we can't, facilitate. So, so that was a huge benefit for us. And on top of that, the pricing is just unbelievable. When I was shopping around direct lenders, it was basically, I was going out on my own anyways. I was kind of leaving my mentor. everybody had their technology or their CRM or whatever they were selling as their direct lender setup, but all I wanted to see was price. I just want to see price.
Right.
And once I started looking at the broker pricing, it was a no-brainer for me.
Got it. Awesome. So yeah, and so in 2019, that's when Granite West started. Yeah.
Correct. I transitioned in the middle of that summer from, probably I stopped taking apps with my previous company probably around April, and then was able to transition over about late June, early July. I had to go through the process of getting my, moving my license from the DBO over to the DRE, right? So I had to go get my real estate license. So that was part of that process, and then I also ended up, forming my LLC. And starting the legalities of all of that, and then obviously ordering my equipment, and kind of getting my phones, getting my computers, getting all that stuff that as a direct lender they just ship out to you. When you go to the broker side, you become responsible for all of that stuff, right? So I had transitioned from a couple of companies previously, so I kind of consider myself an expert at it, and we were, it was a very productive transition where we really didn't skip a beat. We had already started moving files over, and once we finally told our previous company that we were leaving, our pipeline was already pumping. So yeah, it was. It went really well for us, and the toughest part for me was telling my manager, or my mentor, the guy that basically hired me in 2006, that it was time for us to go a different direction.
Right, got it. Well, that's wow, that's super exciting. And totally. I know there was a little bit of uncertainty moving back into the broker world, but it sounds like it's paid off and made sense.
Yeah, well, COVID gave me a pretty good scare.
Yeah.
That was kind of one of the reasons, the broker model had deteriorated previously, was, all the wholesale lenders were imploding, when mortgages were going bad, and it became a bottleneck there. But, obviously the pandemic had a much different effect on the mortgage market than the financial crisis did, and pretty much the exact opposite effect, right? So, like I said, wish I would have done it sooner.
Yeah, awesome. So, tell me, you must have moving to, you're responsible for all your own equipment and all that stuff. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, where did you guys start, researching your tech stack, like your CRMs and your LOS system, your POS? Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
Sure. So, really pretty much the most challenging part was all of that, right? As by trade, I'm a loan originator, right? And although I felt as though I'd been, had some entrepreneurial abilities previously to that, always, continuing to what I said, run my own company. Although I was really just a W-2 employee at a direct lender shop, there was a lot of challenges there, right? There was a lot of stuff that I didn't know, and what I did and that was kind of one of the reasons I didn't just go out and get my broker's license and start my own shop right out the gate. I found somebody who had been there and done that, right? So I leaned on my broker, the company that I basically hang my license with, just as a real estate agent would with Century 21 or something like that. And I leaned on them for a lot of those questions. What are you using for all of these things? Because obviously at a company that already has that stuff set up, that transition's real easy. You just go start using their stuff. But so there was some stuff that I trialed and erred, and the hardest one for me was really the CRM, and that was just because it there's so many to pick from, and it takes a lot of time to get it going, right, and setting it up, because I was able to retain a majority of my data
Yeah.
From my previous companies, and it was something that in reality probably cost me some money last year,
Yeah.
because I didn't have it set up, because obviously everybody and their mother refinanced.
Yeah.
And I got a majority of my past clients, but there was a lot of them that just due to lack of systems, I did miss out on, right?
Yeah.
So that was my number one goal of this year, was to get a CRM set up that was working and functioning to its potential. And obviously last year that was on the plate too, but we didn't have anything. We had no time to do anything but loans last year. So
Yeah.
it was we were a max bandwidth in regards to what we could handle. And unfortunately that system got pushed to the back of the line.
Right. So you are using a CRM. What CRM did you finally choose?
Sure. So I didn't do too much vetting. What I went with is a CRM called Whiteboard. And it is the reason I liked it was mainly because it's geared towards mortgage brokers or mortgage companies already. So a lot of their automated drip campaigns and text campaigns, and a lot of their scripts are set up already for mortgages, right? So that's really what I see as the toughest part about getting a CRM set up. Is it's one thing to have all these emails and stuff going out, but you want them to have your message on them, and so you can get stuck trying to make all that stuff perfect, right? And writing every single email for a 90 to 6 month drip campaign of a potential refi or a potential buyer, and you will never get it done. It was
right.
That's how I felt. So they kind of had that sort of already came along with the product, and I was just able to kind of go in there and fine tune them to sort of put our spin on it and have it sound like us. It was I don't think there's any CRM that's perfect, but the saying goes, the best CRM is the one that you use, right? So that's I'm sure there's ones out there with more potential and better stuff. So it's really kind of what fits you best, and whatever you can get implemented and get using, because that's been the bread and butter of our business since we started, is that database and mining our low hanging fruit, as they call it.
Sure.
And making sure that we nurture the sales that we already have made, and the clients and that we already have relationships with.
Right. Got it. So Whiteboard's the CRM. Something just popped in my head about I was thinking, like, when you were a direct lender and the processing times, is there any difference between the processing times as a direct lender compared to being a broker now?
Sure. But I think that more has to do with, and it's not necessarily processing for me, because I'm fortunate enough that I only have one processor that I've ever had do any loan with my entire career. So when I started with my company in 2006, that processor was there. And every company we went to, we made sure she came with us. And when I went to the broker model, that was, I would have paid that girl anything she wanted to come with me. Right? and so she did. So, fortunately for me, the only time I processed, and I've processed a couple of times, she's obviously, she has a life. So, she was out for, a period of time when she was pregnant last and having a child. And when we were transitioning over, she, her ethical standards are extremely high. So she wasn't willing to start working on any of our new files until our manager was aware of us moving. So during that transition from direct lender to broker, I also processed the files, and just always reiterates how terrible I am at it and how much I hate it and how it's just not my cup of tea. So so the processing really hasn't changed for me. Obviously, I knew that she was going to be capable of handling that due to the fact that we had been a broker before, and that's it's definitely a challenge to do having 40 different submission processes and all of that. So I'm sure she under her breath says a few joyful words to me from time to time, but she's a gangster, so she's good at what she does, and we wouldn't do anything without her. So however, turn times, that obviously there's a little bit to learn about that. Right? You have to, we've been trying to create a little handbook in terms of what Gene Investors policies are, from anything from submission to lock extensions and all of that. So it's that obviously will come with time, but we don't discriminate, man. I know my customers and my consumers want the best rates and the best service that they can get, and we're willing to try out any investor, and some of them we've had a lot of great experiences with, and some of them are dead to us, right? So we go through that process, and obviously last year was an anomaly. I mean, it was an absolute traffic jam no matter where you went, and most of them were did a pretty good job managing it, but I just couldn't imagine what it was like in operations for wholesale lenders, or even lenders last year, any lender, to try to deal with the volume and scale up and try to do all the hiring that needed to be done. So it's it ebbs and flows, right? And right now everybody's turn time's 24 hours again, right? So so it's just sort of the nature of the beast. But obviously that is a challenge. That's something that you have to be accustomed to and have to be okay with. That was nice with the direct lender model to know exactly what I was going to get every time. But the deal is, the consumer doesn't necessarily care too much about that. They just want that rate. They want it low, and they want it, they want it now. So
they want the best rate, best service, and
So we'll take the heat, and we'll do our screaming at loan reps and underwriters, and put a smile on our face when it's time to talk to the consumer, right?
Yeah, got it. So having that processor, right? Someone that can get that job done, that loves doing, is good at it. I mean, one bad seed in the company, if that happened, then I think it's only a matter of time before Yelp finds out about it. Before they go to Yelp and Google, and
absolutely. It's not a job that in my opinion, it's probably the most critical job in the office, right? Minus the sales job, right? Because there's no loans to work on. There's no there's no processing. There's no need to process, right? So and that's really kind of how I try to divide my team up, is into those two segments, sales and ops, right? So and hopefully the two shall never meet, right? I mean, that's kind of the goal, or at least in terms of how I have my team set up.
Got it. Yeah, and tell me a little bit about your team. How many LOs do you have?
Sure. So when I transitioned to the broker model, I had two loan partners and myself, and when we started our own company, I made them actual partners. So we technically have three licensed LOs in the office. Nice. We're all technically owners as well, but we're the ones that carry that torch. We have a processor who I discussed. We also hired a processor assistant that we've had for a little over a year now. she was critical to our success last year as well, because there's no way we would have been able to do the type of volume that we did without giving our processor some help, right? So, and then just recently, probably I want to say February of this year, I added not technically a loan partner yet, but working to get licensed that way, and hoping that once he's licensed, he'll be able to take over some additional responsibilities, and talking rate and talking fee and that. But so that's my setup right now. So I've got total of 6, including myself.
Total of 6. Awesome.
So 4 on salary, 2 hourly.
Yeah. Okay. And what, how many loans are you guys doing a month right now?
We're averaging about 15. 15. 1.5. So that was, I had been stuck in that, 5 to 10 for a long time. It was a challenge. I was, it started at 1 to 3, then went 3 to 5, and then went 5 to 10. And, it was a struggle for me to get above that. That's where I added the loan partners. That's where I, was really staffing that helped me get there. And, I think our capacity right now is at a point where we could, there was a couple of months last year when we were doing over 20, right? So I feel like 25 with the staff I have now is probably our capacity. And I'm looking to add another one so we can continue to ramp up that capacity, right? I'd love to, love to be doing at least 50 a month.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right?
Got it. Yeah. So getting over that hump of 5 to 10 into the 15, that was a little bit of a challenge, but now you're consistently 15. Capacity, could reach 25.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys are doing 20. And that's where the systems come into play, right? So, as we submit that CRM, and the other nice thing that I've loved about being a broker is, it's finally been, I always kind of consider myself pretty good at marketing and branding, and for my entire career I've been repping somebody else's brand, and it's been a dream come true to have my own. And we got our shirts, and we got all our stuff, man. I mean, we buy our gear, and it's there's you're just a little more passionate about it, right? And it's something that we can grow on, and I feel like I'll never have to change again. And it's something that is we're excited to be investing in, and something that we'll continue to grow, because that's another thing that we had to create, right? You have to create an employee handbook, right? I mean, that's part of it, right? You have to do evaluations, right? You have to, there's a whole HR side of it as well, but at the same time, you get to get good jobs to people in your communities that may not necessarily have them there, and you get to treat your employees in a way that you offer healthcare, you can offer 401ks, because as you want that for you and your partners, that's something that you provide to your staff as well. And my dad was a business owner, and that was one of the things that he was most proud of was treating his people well. And I'm a firm believer that if you do that, you'll find people that are great at what they do, and more importantly, loyal to you and the vision that you have for your company.
Yeah, awesome. It's like your little baby, right?
It's a big baby.
It's big.
It's a big baby, man. It starts out little, but it gets big fast.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So marketing, what are you guys doing right now, marketing wise?
Sure. Well, trying to do a little bit of everything, from the branding standpoint, it's, like I said, my community is small. We probably have maybe probably about 5 or 6 different little small communities that maybe add up to 50, 60,000 people.
Yeah.
So always been heavily involved in, community stuff, right? Been on a number of, was on the chamber board for maybe 5 or 6 years. Been on, a ton of other boards in terms of the community park, and we have a lot of nonprofits. So, community center. I'm also in a service club. I'm a Rotarian. So, I'm a firm believer in, law of reciprocity and karma, and you got to give to get. So, we give back as much as we can, and there's no better way to kind of show your values and the way you treat your clients by treating strangers the same way, right? So, but been trying to splash it around a little bit everywhere. I've done everything from shopping carts to I've wrapped a shuttle bus, right? So I've got I feel like the creativity is the most important part. There's really not a newspaper to advertise in anymore. There's not magazines. There's, I haven't done any TV just because we don't necessarily have any local channels, but
right.
I've got a market just down the street, which is Fresno, California, that I think would, we've looked at doing some TV there. And, we'll probably incorporate that here. I'm hoping within the next, 9 months, because, there are some local channels down there, and we haven't really done any TV before. So we do a lot of social media stuff. I had started back in 2012, 13 with my partner who's still with me now. We had done something called the Mountain Minute, which was a real kind of roundabout way of advertising. We would just make these crazy videos about certain events that were going on in town with all these nonprofits, and then at the end be like, hey, by the way, we do home loans. And not only were they fun to do, but they were fun to watch, right? So so we've kind of started getting back into that now that we have a little bit of time to breathe after 2020. And we've launched we had a little powwow between the partners and I at the end of last year. And, my goal was, I said, hey guys, I want to make sure everybody in town knows our name by the end of the year. So one of the things we're doing this year is we're doing what we call Granite West giveaways. And so each month we have picked a different topic or holiday or even business. And, we make a little video, tell them we're going to come out. And, so for Valentine's Day, we bought a bunch of roses and chocolates and just, had people like a page or whatever, and they got in the drawing. We gave that drawing out. And St. Patty's Day, we went to the local brew pub and gave away green beers. We just did a garden giveaway for the week before Easter. We got a Cinco de Mayo thing that we're going to do coming up in May. And so, each one of these we're literally just giving stuff away. Right. We just are looking to, 2020 sucked real bad for a lot of people. And, it's one of those things where, we're trying to, raise some spirits and, help some people out if we can. And, just try to get people back together and vibing a little bit and, having fun and smiling and, and at the same time, trying to make sure that they remember who we are, right? And what we do, right? So, there's not the only thing that I did differently when I became a broker that I really never done before is I did start buying some leads, and they've been relatively successful, but I've slowly started phasing them out, and I really started purchasing them just strictly to, a lot of pressure to be the lead gen guy, right? So a lot of pressure to bring that in. So it was something that, I felt like was an opportunity to, maybe get to some buyers before having to wait for a real estate agent to send them over to us. So I was strictly, I was only buying purchase leads. And, like I said, they paid for themselves. and then some. And
Cool.
it's just what I've been doing with them now is trying to sort of get into markets that that I'm not in now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm using them for currently. But so there's nothing that I'm advertising for sort of in my backyard, but in some other areas, it's something that I'm continuing to sort of invest in. But
Yeah.
I do plan on sort of phasing that out altogether, and then replenishing that ad spend in some Google ads. And
Mhm.
I'm not a firm believer in Facebook ads anymore.
Yeah.
I ran quite a bit of time doing that, and I just feel like since the pandemic has hit, it's nearly impossible to stay in those feeds, and it's all became pretty much a sales site. So I feel like it's, I don't know. I don't really like Facebook leads anymore, but I feel like Google ads is worth a shot, and that's kind of where I'm going now.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, all your eggs aren't in one basket. You kind of spread it around by buying leads. What and
Absolutely.
purchasing? When did you start doing that? Last year?
Yeah, I want to say I started maybe November of 19,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like I said, we've gotten, we're probably getting, I would say 5 to 10 leads a month. And what's been interesting is, they're finally starting to hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, those, when you're going after those purchase leads, especially, the way that we were doing it, that a lot of those people are just thinking about buying.
Yeah.
And the ability to nurture them and stay in front of them, or is critical to having them perform. So we've obviously done a couple of drip campaigns through your guys' stuff, as well as I have some, the new CRM that I have also has an additional sort of platform for campaigns to continue
Right.
to try and stay in touch with those buyers. And obviously after, I guess, 12 months, a little more, we're starting to see them really start hitting the market, and
Nice.
being qualified. A lot of them need some help, right?
Yep.
Their credit sucks, or they're getting a new job or whatever. And
Down payment
it's
or
a
something. Yeah.
and it's a it's a tough market out there right now for a buyer. So
It is.
if you don't have your financing in line, you don't have a chance.
Yep. Got it. Yeah. So there was you're buying the leads, but you have to nurture them, right? And right away, you guys initiate a campaign to start the conversation, but then that person might be 6 months, 12 months away. But how do you keep it in front of them? And
Yeah.
that's what you're using your CRM for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all in the follow up, right?
Yep,
So,
for sure.
and again, that's where the staffing comes in, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't have time to put all these people in campaigns and all that stuff. So I'm looking for automation.
Yep.
I'm looking for, I'm a firm believer that, I don't need to recreate the wheel. Somebody else is doing this. Somebody else is being successful at it. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking to add something to your repertoire, or, another arrow in your quiver, go find somebody who's doing it well, and
Yeah.
just do what they do. Right. I mean, it's
Exactly.
not rocket science, right? And it's not, and it's probably, mainly just that, being the squeaky wheel, and making sure that,
Yep.
you're continuously in front of somebody when sure enough, 6, 8, 9 months down the road, when their parents are like, hey, why don't you just buy our house?
Yeah.
They think of you, and they continue to get stuff from you, and they can find you, right? I mean,
Right.
that's kind of the challenge.
Yeah. Be that squeaky wheel, man. Get noticed. If someone doesn't like it, they can remove themselves. Or I've
Well,
talked to people that are worried about that. Right? They're worried about over communicating with them, and I don't know if that's true. Just
Well, I mean, it absolutely is. I mean, you get solicited all the time with stuff, and yeah, you
oh yeah,
unsubscribe, but it's not like
right.
it's a malicious unsubscribe, right?
Yep.
You just, either interested or not.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
and that's why you continue to hit them from all different ways, right? If you're only doing emails, then nobody opens emails anymore.
Right.
So you got to do emails, you got to do text, you got to do mail.
Yep.
You got to hit them from all different directions, because they'll definitely try to get rid of you. But I just encourage people to try not to take that personally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. You guys have done really well building up your reputation. You just opened the company in 2019, right? And so brand new Google listing out there, and you guys got a lot of reviews on there. I mean, you guys are dominating your market.
Yeah.
In that
absolutely.
facet, you guys are found everywhere. If in your area,
True.
Tell me a little bit about your review process. Like when do you ask for the review, and is there automation for that? And
well, that was something that we set up through you guys as well. And was one of my, when we had talked initially, it was one of my big, it was important to me, right? And it was something that I had, done terribly before, and so I needed help with that. So yes, we did. It's basically automated, and we don't do it right at close. We basically go, we basically do it at the end of the month, right? Okay. We take our closed loans from that month, and then that email that goes out is automated and basically kind of hits them. I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't know how many times it hits them, but because I don't run it, my staff does that. But that's how we've been generating, and so we send out both reviews for Google, as well as an opportunity for people to review us on Zillow. And I think Yelp, but I don't know I don't know if we use Yelp or not, but the reason I was doing both Google and Zillow was because that's where we were getting our leads from, was Zillow, and the higher reviews you get there. And some people do both, some people do one, some people do the other, some people don't do any of them all, but no, I think we've gotten, I don't know, I think we're up to almost 70, 80 reviews on Google, and so it's from zero. I think the only competitor in our market's got like 4, right? So those are really starting to we're starting to see that build a lot of traction, right? Because our area is it's kind of a second home vacation type of community, right? Where we're kind of above the fog, and clean air, and kind of the mountains, and people like to get away there, and so they're coming from the Bay Area, they're coming from LA, they're coming from Sacramento, and they obviously don't know anybody there, right? So when they search you on Google, the reviews matter, right? Just if you're buying tennis shoes or whatever, right? Or if you're checking a recipe for baby back ribs, who's got the best reviews, right? So I've been extremely pleased with that, and like I said, I'm starting to we get more and more calls off of that, and they're top quality borrowers, right? They can get a loan anywhere. They're not somebody that needs credit repair. They just need somebody that's familiar with the area, and mainly picks up their phone.
Awesome. That's amazing. So I think we're sending like 3 emails and 3 text messages, and that's worked really well. They're like, you guys aren't having to like call the like, if they didn't leave a review, do you just leave it alone, or do you try to call them, follow up?
I've been trying to reply to them a little bit more than I was in the beginning, but usually you got to mess with the negative reviews, right? And fortunately, we haven't had too many of those, right? Or any at all. So I feel like the clients speak for themselves, and we give them that platform, and we have a couple of 4 stars, but which I think are necessary, because obviously nobody's perfect,
right?
But I felt like we did a perfect job for both of those 4-star reviewers.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So,
Man.
but everybody's allowed their own opinion, right?
Yep.
So, but no, we, again, I don't interact with them as much as I probably should,
Yeah.
but maybe I'll add the staff to deal with that. But
Right.
everything goes through my email, and it's that's another hard thing for me is to delegate, right, and try to get all that stuff off to the right people to make sure it's getting the attention it needs. And that's something that I'm continuing to try to improve upon and try to get better at.
Right. Got it. Man. So yeah, I mean, you guys have, it's obviously the quality has to be there, right? The quality of the service that you guys provide has to be there. You send that review in a timely fashion, and it's building and it's creating a lot of momentum, and people are calling, people are seeing those reviews. I mean, those reviews are seen by thousands of people. So
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's what better way to advertise than through the people that you've helped, right? So because I'm always going to say we're great, but it's nice to have that validation and that that, and it's not just a couple people, right? It's everyone. It's everyone that we work with, right? So that shines through, and like I said, I know it makes a difference to me as a consumer when I'm looking at
For sure.
getting into business with somebody or purchasing a product. I mean, it's they're critical. If you haven't read the reviews, then you're about to be writing a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure,
right. Because you
exactly.
should have read them if you're not happy with how the turnout was, right? So, but that's kind of our, it's real easy to, you kind of ask me, what do we use to sort of differentiate ourselves, or what is our unique sales proposition? And
Right.
I hadn't really thought about that too much, but thinking about it, it's really it's basically sticking to the basics, right? I mean, we all know after 2020 that
Yep.
nobody has to answer their phone anymore. They can just have an automated message to say, due to the pandemic, we are behind, and we don't get back. I mean, so it's like and we've always felt that our making sure we're available. That's why we have 3 loan officers that work all the same loans. Making sure that we're accessible. If I'm out at enjoying my time with my family, there's somebody that can answer the phone. Take care of somebody. We try to be accountable, right? We're not perfect, but we definitely are not afraid to admit when we've made a mistake. And obviously our business has it's the blame game, right? Hey, it was the appraiser. Hey, it was the lender. Hey, it was the title. Hey, it was the right. So I tell my loan officers, hey, you're not going to make it in this business if you can't make a bad news phone call. And so if that's something you can't handle, then you can stay over there in ops, and you can ride, you can be the other side. But if you're going to be in sales, that's something that you have to, we don't all calculate income the same way the underwriter does, right? So and I don't really think honesty is something that we have to teach. It's I love our side of the business because numbers are numbers, right? They are black and white, and you get to show them what you want to show them. Have we gotten lost some deals because we were too honest with our numbers? Absolutely, we have, right? And we'll continue to lose those deals because the consumer, a lot of times people just they want to hear what they want to hear, and you can either be that person to tell them what they want to hear, or you can tell them the truth, right? And we like our numbers getting better, not worse. We've had a lot better experience with our clients, and our our blood pressure when
under promise, over deliver.
When it's going the other way, right? So and mainly the only other thing that we do a lot of that I don't know if anybody else is doing is educate, right? we really try to make sure, I'll explain mortgage insurance, 10 different ways until you get it, right? And not just blow through that, right? Obviously, every consumer is a little bit different, but if you're dealing with an engineer or somebody who's extremely analytical, a fast talking loan officer is gonna, kind of, rub them the wrong way. So I do talk fast, but sometimes I recognize when it's important to slow down. Some people don't care. They just want to know what the rate and the payment is. Other people want to know, where's this loan going? They want to talk to you about secondary and GSEs and, all this other stuff. So I always tell people, I know more about home loans than anybody ever should. So if you want to keep asking me questions, I'll keep answering them for you. And what matters to you matters to me. So, we try to educate and, like I said, I got into this business because I feel like real estate is, the number one opportunity for me to gain wealth in the world. And you asked me who my target market is, and it's anybody who feels the same way about that. It's real easy for us to relate to that type of, whether it's a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor, right? If you're able to, really understand, what they're doing and what their passion is, and you share that passion, it really makes that sales process much more like a friendship and a partnership than anything else. So that's what we try to do. I mean, we joke about it all the time. We wish we could charge like attorneys charge by the hour. I mean, it's just free information spewing out of my office all day long, right? I mean, you can come in and get a full seminar from me if you want to meet me for an hour and you ask me questions about home loans, and you can walk out and go sell them yourself if you want. But we always joke about that. We wish we could charge 15 minutes for an email, right? But no, I think it's important to be able to, that kind of, reverts back to, sort of our policy about, giving. And, if you continue to help people, they'll, that'll come back to you,
that karma, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So,
that karma. Yeah. But I love it. You guys focus on the client. Like, what do they need? If they have a question, they want it answered. Like, you want to give that. You want to be that person that gives them that answer, right? It's like, if it matters to them, it matters to you. So I love that. It's
most of the time, all you got to do is Google, right? I mean, they just, sometimes you're like, hey man, you can just Google this, right? but hey, I heard this new loan program. You're like, me too.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know what I mean? So, a lot of people just, they don't know who to call. And, the idea is to, maintain to be a resource for them, no matter what it has to do with financing or real estate or anything in the community. You want to make sure that, they know that they have somebody on their side that they can trust, that they can call and get some time and an honest answer from. And, we do a lot of stuff for people at the county in regards to their taxes. We're in kind of a high fire area, so people call us about insurance all the time.
Right.
And those are also great opportunities to continue to, expand your sphere of influence as a company and, talk to other people and, total business to business marketing type of stuff there too. So, I always tell people, just because we're done doesn't mean we're gone. If there's anything that they ever need in regards to, real estate or financing, don't hesitate to reach out. My entire staff has, lived in our community forever. So if you need somebody to remove some trees or dig a well or whatever, we know who to call. So that's
got someone. Yeah.
It's kind of the mentality that we have.
What what about your refer? Like, how do you, like, you guys work with someone? Do you like follow up for referrals for those, like, people's friends, families? Like, how are you guys like maximizing that part of the like each buyer or each loan?
Sure. Well, the CRM really is critical to that. In regards to, staying on top of them. So those drip campaigns help, I think. And we also call, I mean, I think some of the best marketing in today's day and age is old-fashioned marketing, right? It's so old, it's new again, right? We do handwritten letters, right? We pick up the phone and we call. We call the database twice a year.
Wow.
And I don't. Okay. I used to, right? That used to be something that I did. And I script them out, tell them what to say. And it's just a matter of, hey, just checking in on you. How you doing? Just want to make sure we've got all your contact information right. And, hey, there's anybody that's either buying or selling or needs help, we'd love to you to send them our number. That's pretty much how we work that. And
Awesome.
it's I found that there's a little bit more loyalty on the lender side than there is on the real estate side in terms of clients. Which is nice, and I say a little bit because there's not a whole lot of loyalty out there, but it seems like when you get somebody's money lined up, they're pretty. They don't really want to go. They don't want to really go through that process again. They'll go look at 1,000 houses, but they won't apply for 1,000 mortgages. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So. Awesome. There could be so much money left on the table if you're not like maximizing like each loan that you have, right? With those.
Well, I've done a lot of coaching. I've been in quite a few coaching groups, and one of the things that really hit home for me one time is that we're, as a salesperson, we're so excited for that next kill, right? We just want to go hunting and hunting and hunting, and we forget about all those kills we've already had, and and those are much easier to eat off of because you've already sold them, right? They already know, like, and trust you, right? And it's difficult for our personalities and our mentality to spend more time there than we are out hunting, right? So it's something that I consistently try to remind myself of, right? Because I don't do it perfectly either. So, and that's kind of what we're doing with the giveaways as well. Is we're reaching out to our database, right? That's who we're inviting, right? That's who we want to have show up, right? Because now we can talk to them as friends, right? We don't have to be like, hey, good to see you. Where's your bank statement?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's kind of where you start deepening those relationships, and and then you don't even have to hit them with emails and text messages. They'll just remember you when their brother's looking to buy a house.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazing.
So,
well done. Andrew, thank you for everything. I do got one more question, man. What would you say is the greatest learning or greatest insight that you could give another fellow mortgage broker?
Like somebody who's just like getting their feet wet, or like trying to decide if the mortgage broker's right for them, or what do you mean? Yeah,
like what is your greatest learning now in this path since 2006 that you've had to now?
Yeah, don't try to do it alone, man. My decision. I had a couple of different broker or shops that I could have chosen, and it was the support and the experience was really what kind of took me down the road I went down, and I couldn't be more pleased with that decision, because there's so much help that you need. There's so many things that you haven't done. I mean, think about trying to encrypt your email, right? Who the hell does? I mean, I don't. That was just something that we would have, right? So, it's one of those things where have a mentor, get a coach, find somebody who's done it before, and swipe from them. Don't try to recreate the wheel. Find somebody who's committed to your success as well, and lean on them for a lot of that stuff that you will become an expert at,
right?
Once you've done it, right?
Yep.
But to do it the first time, it'll save you a lot of trouble and probably a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
If you just, lean on somebody who's been there before. And that would be my recommendation to anybody that is thinking about, starting their own company and playing around in the mortgage game is, talk to our brokerage side is, talk to somebody who's doing it.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Don't do it alone. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. This has been another episode of the Mortgage Success Podcast. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brian. Take care.
You bet. Thank you. If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit mortgagebrokermarketing.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Mortgage Brokers, tripling your online sales by getting your internet marketing done the right way. Also check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to optimizing your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Mortgage Success Podcast. Thank you for listening.